Today, on Public Eye News, the latest on authorities' ongoing search for the man they believe to be the shooter who killed 18 in Lewiston. And later, President Joe Biden's first opponent in the Democratic primary has emerged.
Weatherman Nolan Schaefer will have your look at a trick-or-treating forecast for next week. Our very own Luke Niddle will have your sports recap ahead of Northern Hockey's home opener. I'm Bryson Krieger.
And I'm Beck Brearley, and this is Public Eye News. Tragedy struck this Wednesday when an armed gunman killed 18 people at a restaurant and bowling alley in Lewiston, Maine. There is currently a statewide manhunt for Robert Card, the alleged suspect in the deadly Maine shooting. 2 days into this manhunt, and authorities still aren't sure about the whereabouts of Card, with investigators receiving over 500 tips before they prepared to add river divers to the massive search of the reported gunman. Investigators will be searching today at the Androscoggin River, near where the suspect Card's car was found. Some family members have come forward to release the names of their loved ones they lost in the event. Among the 18 lost were a volunteer youth bowling coach and a bar manager who confronted the shooter and saved his family. In accordance with the proclamation issued by President Biden, the state of Michigan will lower all U.S. and Michigan flags to half-staff to honor the victims of the shooting. And just last night in Marquette, the breakfast diner Jeffrey's was engulfed in flames. The Marquette City Fire Department responded to this structural fire, with arriving units establishing a command center while also securing a water supply to quell the flames. Salvage and overhaul operations were completed, and thanks to the efforts of the firefighters and other first responders, no one was injured. And fire department investigators are on the scene investigating the cause of the fire.
In 2020, a man was mistakenly charged with drunk driving near Fowlerville, Michigan. Now he's able to sue for a violation of his constitutional rights. The 37-year-old man, who is a native from Yanago, Japan, was in the U.S. on a work visa when he was pulled over and given a breath test. He blew 0.02. However, Officer Pekka from Fowlerville read it to be 0.22, which is about 3 times the state's legal blood alcohol limit for driving. After a blood test was done revealing a blood alcohol level of 0.01, charges were dropped 3 days later. The 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals has allowed the lawsuit to proceed in Detroit for trial or a possible settlement. Yesterday, Thursday, October 26th, Governor Gretchen Whitmer announced that Jen Flood will be the new director of the State Budget Office starting in November. This addition to the Michigan Executive Office has been made after Chris Harkins, the former director of the State Budget Office, accepted a position outside of the state government. Jen Flood has a bachelor's degree in economics and a master of public policy making, both from Michigan State University. She has previously worked in the Michigan State government as a government policy advisor, as the director of legislative and public affairs in the governor's office, and currently serves as deputy chief of staff. A sea otter pup, orphaned after an orca killed its mother in Alaska, is now getting care at the Minnesota Zoo. A second pup rescued by the zoo's partner, Alaska Sea Life Center, is also here. The zoo's team returned last week from a 20-hour transport after the pups were medically stable to travel. Jennifer Muriel of WCCO masked up to get a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to care for them and the plan for their future.
Meet the Minnesota Zoo's newest sea otters. This is 7-week-old Nuka. Splashing around over here is Denali. She's about 5 months old.
They seem pretty active.
They're constantly active. They're little busybodies, so they're either sleeping or doing something, whether it's grooming, playing, hunting.
Before the sea otter pups can make their zoo debut, they need to be healthy and gain strength and skills, says Dr. Annie Rivas.
When we have any orphan baby animal, it is around-the-clock care, just like you would have with a human baby. But this is a way for us to give animals a chance that otherwise would not have survived.
Animal care staff are helping Nuka and Denali with things they would usually learn from their moms in the wild.
Nuka is practicing adult skills by swimming and using her hands with the ice and the toys to learn how to hunt.
Play is a good way for them to work towards those skills they're going to need the rest of their life.
And grooming is a main part of survival. Christoph Netze, curator of aquariums and marine mammals, says sea otters have the densest fur of any mammal on Earth.
They don't have the blubber that most marine mammals do, so they have a lot of hair and they got to groom it all the time to stay warm and to keep waterproof. So the mothers would be constantly grooming them in their infancy. So without the moms, it's up to us. So I got to spend a lot of hours scrubbing them, using a blow dryer, a comb, making sure their coat is in perfect condition.
They have a rapid metabolism, so feedings happen throughout the day and night when they're young. Sea otters are known for being smart, motivated animals. They're already showing personality.
Nolly is definitely more chill. She is trained already quite a bit. She follows a target. She'll follow you around.
When the time is right, they'll bring Nuka and Denali together and eventually unite them with the zoo's older sea otters, Capers, Jasper, and Rocky.
But our hope is one day that they are going to be kind of part of a social family group.
In Apple Valley, Jennifer Merrily, WCCO News.
Folks, Nolan Schaefer will have an update on some rainy conditions and how they might impact Halloween next week coming up. Stay tuned.
How did your mom's doctor's appointment go yesterday?
She's really upset. She's got high cholesterol. I'm really concerned.
You know, tell your mom to eat lentils. They significantly lower cholesterol. What, you guys don't watch Christina Cooks on public television? You know she is America's healthy cooking teacher.
This afternoon at 4:30.
Hi, welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Nolan Schaefer with your weather today. First, we'll be taking a look at our school's sky cam. And as you can see, we have some sun after it being so cloudy, and there is more clouds across the whole UP. Starting in Houghton, we have temperatures of 42 degrees. In Ironwood, we have temperatures of 45 degrees. In Iron Mountain, we have temperatures of 55 degrees. In Menominee, temperatures of 63. In Escanaba, temperatures of 62. In Manistique, temperatures of 58. In Sault Ste. Marie, temperatures of 59. And in the lovely Marquette, we have temperatures of 58 degrees. And looking forward to the current conditions, we have winds out of the west at 13 miles per hour, and the pressure is 29.76 inches and rising. Looking forward tonight, we have a low of 42, winds out of the west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. And looking forward to tomorrow, we have partly cloudy skies with a high of 42, a low of 32, and winds out of the northwest at 13 miles per hour. And looking forward ahead, we have on Sunday, we have a high of 39, a low of 29 with some clouds. On Monday, we have a high of 36 and a low of 28 with some sunny skies, hopefully. And on Tuesday, Halloween, we have a high of 36, a low of 29, and some frightful snow. And that will be it for the weather today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Nolan. Yeah, that is some spooky weather for Halloween.
Back to Michigan weather as usual. And moving into some international news. And a group of U.S. fighters launched a strike in Syria against Iran-linked groups in retaliation for attacks on U.S. personnel. The strike was a response to drone attacks against United States forces in the region, with further strikes being implemented to deter future violence. According to senior U.S. military officials, the precision strikes were carried out near Abu Kamal by two F-16 fighter jets, and they struck weapons and ammunition storage areas that were connected to the IRGC. The senior defense official told reporters that the airstrikes will have a significant impact on the ability of Iranian proxy groups to continue attacking U.S. forces. According to the Pentagon, as of Thursday, there had been 19 attacks on U.S. bases and personnel in Iraq and Syria since October 17th. And Representative Dean Phillips announced his primary challenge to Biden, saying Democrats need to focus on the future. Dean Phillips called for a Democratic primary challenge to President Joe Biden. The 50-year-old from Minnesota congressman finally entered the race on Friday in an event outside New Hampshire's State House. Phillips is highly unlikely to beat Biden. However, his run offers a symbolic challenge to national Democrats trying to project the idea that there is no reason to doubt the president's electability. The state's influence on Democrats also was curtailed this year with changes made by the Democratic Party. And one of Mexico's most famous resort cities is devastated after Hurricane Otis. The Category 5 storm made landfall near Acapulco early Wednesday, killing at least 27 people. It also damaged 80% of the area's hotels, and hundreds of thousands of people are still without power and other basic services. Enrique Acevedo is in Acapulco with more on the storm's aftermath.
Survivors of the strongest hurricane to hit the eastern Pacific wander the streets of Acapulco, peeking through what's left of their homes and businesses.
Ya no quedó nada. No, necesitamos que nos ayuden.
Residents are frustrated that 48 hours after devastating rain and sustained winds of 165 miles per hour crumpled buildings and flooded streets, Authorities haven't accomplished more.
Yo tuve que ir a mover todo allá para que podamos movernos aquí y ellos ahí en bola platicando.
Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said Hurricane Otis toppled every power line pole in the area Wednesday, leaving 500,000 homes without electricity, and also brought down Acapulco's municipal water system.
Fue muy desastroso lo que padeció Acapulco. Lo que aquí se dice no tiene precedente.
Looters were seen breaking into stores as many residents struggled with a lack of basic supplies. Acapulco's Diamond Zone, an oceanfront tourist hub, was turned into a debris field with windows blown out of beachfront hotels. With local airports closed, stranded tourists have been relying on buses to get out of the region. Enrique Acevedo, Acapulco, Mexico.
After this break, Luke Needle will have a look at NMU's home opener tonight and how the NMU soccer teams are heading into postseason. Stay tuned for your Wildcat Sports Breakdown.
Welcome to Getting Older. For Season 2, we've conducted 39 new in-depth interviews with diverse baby boomers coast to coast. We're also introducing action segments called Boomer Passions, original short films about the hobbies, pastimes, and passions of Americans after retirement. Every Season 2 episode includes a new Boomer quiz.
This afternoon on WNMU TV.
Welcome back to Public Eye Sports. I'm your host, Luke Little, and here's your Friday breakdown. Looking into hockey this weekend, the Northern Michigan Wildcats hockey team will host the Ferris State Bulldogs tonight and tomorrow for an interconference showdown. The Wildcats have historically dominated Ferris State with an all-time series record of 29-12-4. The Cats are 8-2 in the past 10 matchups, with the two most recent matchups last season saw the Bulldogs being outscored 17-5. The Wildcats have scored an outstanding 13 goals in 2 weeks, 7 of them on all NCAA teams that have played 3 or more games. Charlie Glockner has defended the net well against the Bulldogs with a 1-1 record and a .927 save percentage in his career. Crossing over to the pitch, the NMU men's soccer team will travel to Davenport for the first round of the playoffs. NMU enters at 2-9-4, and the Panthers come in at 5-4-5. Goalkeeper Bryce Beckley is first in the GLIAC with goals against with 6, second in save percentage with .813, and second in average goals against with 1.2. The Wildcats have faced off against Davenport twice this season, winning 1-0 and tying 0-0 2 weeks ago. Last week, the Cats hosted St. Cloud State for their final regular season matchup, tying 2-2. And staying on the pitch, the women's soccer team is nearing the end of their regular season with home matches against Saginaw Valley State and Ferris State. The Lady Wildcats have remained nationally ranked for 7 weeks in a row, the longest streak in program history. The number 12 ranked Wildcats are 11-1-3, with 2 very important conference games upcoming. NMU sits on top of the conference with 24 points, but Saginaw Valley is currently at 21 points, and Ferris State sits at 12 points. The Cats are currently undefeated at home with a 4-0-2 record and outscoring their opponents 14-4. The Wildcats have not lost at home in over a year, with their last defeat happening on September 27th, 2022. That's all for sports. Back to the desk.
Oh, well, thanks for that sports update, Luke. That's really exciting, and I'm really happy to see where it goes further on in the season.
Yeah, that is exciting. So I have a couple more news stories for things that are happening this weekend in Marquette. So do you need some help getting into the spooky spirit? Tomorrow at 8 p.m., the Student Org Nomad is having their Halloween concert, The Witching Hour, in the Northern Center Grand Ballrooms. Headlining the show is Spooky Mansion with Ain't Afraid as the supporting act and Passed Out Curbside as the local opener. The event, which is free for NMU students with ID, is also open to the public for $10 in cash only at the door. Why was the witch late? She overswept. Hopefully that isn't the case tomorrow when downtown Marquette becomes a world of Halloween. From 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., there will be different events, including a trick-or-trot race, Carnival of Horrors at the local library, trick-or-treat at the Marketplace, spooky science at the Children's Museum, and to end the day, downtown trick-or-treating at participating businesses, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And that is all the time we have for today. I'm Bryson Krieger.
And I'm Beck Burley.
And this is Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Public Eye News. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube down below or follow us on Instagram at NMU Penn to never miss a story.